5. Ignition.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Revelations. I am the most influential speaker from the House of M, and I have some fun stuff to show you tonight. I am so excited about this. I have just finally completed my Series 3 of Masters of the Universe sprites. I call them my 8-bit classics line. They're little Perler bead creations. These are things that you can get at any craft store. Michael's, Joann's, and they have designs that you can pre-make. There's tons of stuff that you can do with this. I have always been a fan of Mega Man, the video game, and when I saw the Perler beads for the first time, I saw the Mega Man pieces done with Perler beads, and I thought they were fantastic. So I wanted to take a step further, and I did a base set. So I created Mega Man in different poses, and I created and then I created the villains the robots that he fought for the first 2 games. And I had so much fun doing that, so I wanted to extrapolate on that and actually produce things that I haven't seen before. So I started with Marvel characters, I started with DC characters, and then I proceeded to do things that I actually wanted to have as well, that again, I haven't really seen. So I put my spin on it. But I did some Walking Dead characters. I did like the AMC version of Negan and Rick. And then I also did the comic books version, black and white, of the same characters too. There's subtle differences in those characters' representations on their respective medium there, the comic book and AMC's television show. And then I thought, well, I did some other properties that I've seen some do, but not in the Mega Man style that I'm a fan of, and that's what I kind of produce. So I did some of the G.I. Joe, which I don't think I've ever shown on our social media pages, I don't think anyway. And then Masters of the Universe as well. So Masters of the Universe, I've done up to 3 series, and the third one I just completed now, and that's what I want to show you today. So I'm trying to do a couple from each. So with my Masters of the Universe line, I'm actually also doing She-Ra as well in the same grouping, so I can get her characters in here as too. Plus, I'm a fan of the characters on her show as well. So I try to do heroes and villains from both universes, or not universes, from both series, in a complete series, as I do each wave. So I'll start with showing you the She-Ra heroes. I did Cowl, and again, if you are familiar with She-Ra and her cartoon, you'll know who Cowl is. If you've never heard of these shows, Google it, I guess. But for any fans, this is my Cowl. So he turned out very, very fun, and they're 2-sided, of course, but very cool. I like Cowl. And then from She-Ra, I also did Frosta. She's a hero as well, so I kind of did her with her weapon. Whenever I can try to do any of these people, I try to give them accessories as well too. So there's Frosta. So you got Frosta and Cowl from She-Ra. The villain side of the Princess of Power, I did Scorpia and nuts! I just dropped them. Scorpia and the Horde Troopers. So I'll show you Scorpia first. So there's Scorpia. She looks pretty cool. I love the tail. She's got crab pinchers for hands. But Scorpia, she turned out really fun. I like her. And then I sometimes do, when I do these waves of the He-Man figures, or the sprites, I do variants. I call them variants. But I try to take the same character, I do a little twist on it. So for Mechanic, if anyone knows who Mechanic is, I did a Mechanic with just a standard version, and then I did a Mechanic, I'm going to say variant or chase, because I just like using those terms, with his neck extended, so I try to do a little tweak. So I did a little tweak with the Horde Trooper, and I did one standard Horde Trooper, and then I took the same exact Horde Trooper and added a weapon to accessorize him. So you can see the differences there. But there's the Horde Trooper. Very cool. I like each one of these. I really, really enjoy. But there's the one that's more rare. I'm just making this up. I mean, I don't know. It's rare because these are the only 2 in the world, as far as I know. But if I ever mass produce these things, this would be the Chaser variant. I have dreams of grandeur, apparently. So those were the She-Ra people. heroes and villains, I got to go down and pick up one of my characters. I drop right back. All right. So for the Masters of the Universe heroes, I actually did my chase or variant version of the character Orko. So here's going to be your standard character of Orko right here. And I have the variant or the chase version of Orko right here spinning out some magic. It doesn't sound like that, but that's my cool magic noise. So magic Orko and regular Orko. So you got magic and regular Orko. So those turned out pretty fantabulous. The other hero I did was Clamchamp from Masters of the Universe. So Clamchamp was always one of my favorite characters too. I don't know exactly when he came out, but I always liked his name. But he also had this cool weapon, and I did the weapon. So here is Clamchamp. He turned out pretty cool. So can you see the Mega Man likeness in these sprites? Again, I'm making them their own characters, but I'm basing them off on the Mega Man style, I guess, of those 8-bit figures. So I really enjoy doing those. And then I did Masters of the Universe, Eternia, the villains as well. So I did the first one that I'm going to show you is Whiplash. Here he comes. Whiplash, how cool is that? I'll tell you how cool. It's very cool. I love Whiplash. But he turned out excellent. So there's Whiplash. And then the last character I did for Masters of the Universe, the villains, would be Webster. And he's a spider character. So there is Webster. So Webster came with an orange gun, so I put that gun right on him as well, right there. And Webster is known, because he's a spider, he had a backpack on his power chest, and it had a grappling hook. So you could actually hang Webster from the grappling hook. So I had to put the grappling hook in here. So anyone who does Perler beads, you know it's really tough to melt those single beads, because they're barely touching each other, but it's very hard to get a good melt in there. But I was able to do it on that tough little melt. Anytime you do like single beads back to back, that's why it's easier to melt them when they're all close together, but otherwise they're kind of tough to get a single bead thread in there. But I did it. You know what's really handy is I usually do, just recently, with all the Cricut stuff we do on our Inspired Creations page, I actually use the Cricut press. What do you call it? The press? Yeah, the Cricut press thing. And I use those to melt these much more evenly. And they are turning out really well, because those things heat very evenly. So there's my Masters of the Universe sprites. I hope you enjoyed those. And that was series 3. Probably going to do more series of these guys too, so stay tuned. And I hope to do more of the other characters that I like of these 80s properties. I think I mentioned I want to do G.I. Joe. I'd love to do Thundercats. That would be awesome too. But I will be doing more of these, and I'll show them to you guys on our YouTube page, so I appreciate it. But that's about it for this episode of Revelations. I'd like to thank everyone for watching this episode, and if you found us, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube show. Hit that little bell to get alerts when we show you new pages, or new content, I should say. But I appreciate every review. Give us a comment. Let us know how you like it. But until next time, remember, it's never too late to create. Take care.